Hi, my name is Julianne, and today I am going to be reviewing The Rig by Ducie, something like that. It's this book here. I really enjoyed this book. The description is basically there's this kid, Will Drake. He has broken out of like every single prison he's been put in, so he's transported to the Rig. Okay, so the Rig is this old oil rig that has been transformed into a prison for children, not children, but a prison for teenagers, the worst of the worst teenagers, the murderers out there. So Will Drake hasn't killed anyone, and you do find out what he did to be put into prison, but it's because he can break out of pretty much any prison. He has to be put into the worst of the worst prisons, which is like pretty much impossible to escape because, again, it's on an oil rig, so it's in the middle of the ocean. So the only way to get off of it is through a helicopter or a boat. So, or swim, and you're probably just going to get eaten by sharks or something if you try to swim, and you're not going to make it to shore. So obviously you're kind of just stuck on the rig, and the guards put on like these bands or something, that tell your vital signs and everything, and tells where you are on the rig. So you really can't get out of your thing, out of the band, because if you take it off, they know. Okay, so in this world, there's basically an organization that pretty much just runs everything. It's called the Alliance, and if you watch Alias, you already know that the Alliance is evil. So the Alliance kind of runs everything, and they run the prison, and so all the kids that are sent here kind of owe the Alliance a certain amount of money. And so if you leave where you're supposed to be, because you're supposed to either be because you have to work, your workstation, or they teach you stuff, but so your classroom that you're supposed to be in, or if you're supposed to be in your room, that sort of stuff. And so if you go outside of those places when it's not your time, you kind of are charged money, and the only way to work off your debt to the Alliance is through working. So that's kind of just the system on the rig, and it's really good. It's really interesting. It took a turn that I was not expecting, and I was really happy it did. Will Drake, when he's put on the rig, he's trying to find a way off, okay, because he does not want to be stuck there. He has other places to be, which again will be explained once you read the story. But he really does not want to be on the rig. Obviously no one does, because it's really not a fun place to be. While on the rig, Drake finds out that there's something a little fishy going on, something that you're not expecting is going on this rig. It reminded me actually a little bit of a Doctor Who episode or Supernatural episode, where everything seems normal, and then it's just something behind the scenes that's happening on the rig. And so it's kind of just finding out that mystery, but it's also trying to find out an escape plan to get off the rig. And so it's really good, really interesting, and I really enjoyed it a lot. To talk about the characters, you have Drake, Irene, and Tristan are the three main characters in the story. I like how Drake's character developed throughout the story, because he's used to being on his own. I would compare him to Emma from Once Upon a Time. Drake is used to being on his own and taking care of himself. He doesn't really want to, because he feels if he tries to escape with someone, he's going to put them in danger, and he doesn't want to endanger anyone. And he's just more of by himself kind of guy. So he doesn't really want to make friends or anything like that. And I like how more toward the end he starts to accepting people and into his life, and just kind of opening up. Tristan, I love Tristan. I think I knew he was going to become a major player in the story, but the fact that he became a main character throughout the story, I like that. Tristan is really cool, and I just like his moral compass. I like how he steps up when it comes to making a mistake. Irene, I don't know, I knew she was going to be important when she was first introduced, but yeah, I like her role in the story, and I think it's really interesting. And I'm curious about how her and this other person, how their relationship is gonna go. And I just like the relationship between the friendship relationship thing that's going on between everyone within the friend group. I like how I like that. Like, I like how it develops and they become like really good friends throughout the story. I thought it was such a fun read because, you know, at first it's just going like, you know, it's Drake trying to escape, but then, you know, you find out what's really going on in the rig, and that just blew my mind. I was like not expecting it at all. It was awesome, and you're never gonna guess the twist. Like, you can't. There's no way. This whole story is great. I love Drake. He's just really, he has his moments where he's just like really sassy, and it's great. I mean, I had a couple problems, I guess, with the story with like certain characters. Like, the bully was kind of like stereotypical at first, and it was just like kind of annoying because I was like, oh, like, I don't know, it just had that stereotypical, of course, the bully's doing this and saying that, and okay, so I read this book, I don't know, like, I feel like a few weeks ago, so I don't remember exactly what happened, so, but I just remember feeling like the bully was kind of like stereotypical, and it was just kind of annoying, but I still thought the story was really good. I keep saying that a lot, but yeah, I thought The Rig was a really cool read, and it was an impulse read. I was just walking through the store and I just saw it, and it said escape is impossible, and that just caught my eye. Like, I was about to walk away, but I was like, I need to know what the story is about, and it's talking about like how there's no escape from this prison, and I really like enjoy those prison break type of stories. Like, I think it's really cool how people break out of prisons in stories, you know. In real life that's kind of scary, but in stories it's sometimes, like, depending on who's breaking out of prison, it's really cool. I highly recommend this. Just a note that if you're American, it's a series, and the guy's Australian, and the second book's not out in America yet. So I don't know when it's coming out, but I hope it does come out really soon because it's such a good book and I really need the sequel. And I'm just really curious on where the story is going to go because I feel like The Rig is just like the tip of the iceberg. Like, it's good, but I feel like the rest of the series is just going to get bigger and better and just even way more crazy, and it's just going to be really awesome, and I'm really excited. You should definitely go check this book out. So now I'm going to move on to the spoiler section of the video, so if you haven't read this book, you should probably leave now, and I guess I'm going to move on to the spoilers. Okay, so there isn't that much I wanted to say. It's just like, there's, you know, a couple of things that I just really want to talk about, and I just want to say that whole like Crystal X thing with kids getting powers, I was put off for like half a second. I was just like, what? What the heck? Crystal X? What? This is what's going on? And then all of a sudden I was like, no, this is cool. I just got all Gone series on me because Gone series kids have powers, blah blah blah. So like in this story, the fact that they have powers and Irene has the healing thing, and it's interesting how it doesn't always work all the time, and that it's like blue light, I think it was. I thought it was interesting just like how it works. I'm just worried about Drake. Like, I don't think he's gonna die, but because he's like the main character, and I don't think the author is just gonna like kill him off, you know, unless it's like at the end of the story. But I think it's just really interesting how they have powers, and I like his reaction where he's just like, it's not really magic, but I like that he just calls it magic, because that's just kind of maybe how, like, you know, someone would react. Like, this isn't science or anything. This has to be magic, you know, that mentality. And I like Drake a lot, actually. He was great. He was such a good character. I liked him a lot. Except, you know, when he's all like, oh, I'm just gonna escape on my own. And I'm like, no, you have to bring your friends with you. Why would you leave them on the rig? Like, what if they took them and tried to experiment on them? Like, why would you leave them behind? And I'm so glad that he made that decision to escape with them. It said so much about his character development, and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I really thought the whole, like, powers thing was kind of really cool and interesting. Like, I'm curious to see all the powers that can come out of that. And, yeah, I hope Drake doesn't like, I don't know what can happen from that overload of Crystal X. Like, would he turn into that one guy who, don't remember his name, but the one who could, like, basically, they had in the cage, and he was, like, insane, and I think his name was, yeah, nope, nothing comes to mind, actually. But, yeah, the fact that he could see in the future was just, like, insane, and I don't know, I just thought that was really cool. I just am so excited for this series, like, I just feel like this is just the beginning, like, this was the backstory, this is how they got their powers, this is where Crystal X comes from, these are, like, the villains, and this is the Alliance. And then the next books in the series, I actually don't know how many books would be there, I don't know if maybe it's a duology for all I know, but then the next book, I think, you know, it's just gonna get bigger, and I think the summary was that they join up with other kids that have powers from the whole Crystal X thing, so I think that would be really cool to see. And I don't think the technology is going to be, like, really advanced or anything in this story. Like, it might be advanced, but I don't think it's going to be that much, because it's only, like, 10 years in the future. So I'm really curious to see where this series is going to go, because that whole Crystal X twist was not something I was expecting, so I have no idea what can happen. Maybe they'll take down the Alliance. I like how the guy who, like, was, like, the leader or president or whatever of the Alliance is called Whitmore. There's basically an evil dude in Lost that called Whitmore or whatever the name is, but I thought that was kind of funny. He got the Alliance and Whitmore. Tristan being a hacker was awesome. I like that moment when Drake was all like, so how did you get caught? And Tristan is just like, I turned myself in, because he knew he did something bad, and he was like, I gotta own up to this. And I just really like that about Tristan, and how he, like, just owned up to that. The fact that he made a mistake, and, like, you know, he got someone killed, right? I think he got someone killed. I'm trying to remember exactly what he did. Like, kind of forgot exactly what he did, but I just like that he turned himself in for that. And lucky for Drake that he did, because, you know, if it wasn't for Tristan, he would not have escaped. And Irene was pretty cool. I thought that was weird, but kind of interesting that she could, like, make her hand, like, you know, come out of the band or whatever. So I thought that was weird, but it was kind of cool. I mean, and really handy if you need to get out of the band thing. Really not sure what it was called. What did Irene do? She killed someone, right? Like her dad? Stepfather? I think she killed her stepfather. Yes, she did. I remember that scene. Oh, that was so heartbreaking. She just had, like, a really sad backstory. So did Drake with his mom and everything. And I feel like Ducie, I really don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm gonna just say Ducie. I feel like he was making, like, a statement or something, saying, like, how the lines, there's, like, shelves of just medicine, and yet people can't afford to take it, you know, and even if they're dying, you can't, even though it's just sitting on a shelf not even being used. So I felt like that was, like, you know, a statement toward, like, I don't know, some sort of, like, the medical system, or I don't even know. That whole escape scene was just crazy. Like, you know, they get on the boat, and they're, like, about to leave, and then it gets all crazy, and there's the fighting, and that whole thing, and then they have to get back onto the rig, and almost die, and then they have to get on the helicopter. This book, at first, it was kind of going slow for a while at the beginning, because it was just like, okay, when is he gonna try to escape? When is this gonna happen? Like, when are things gonna pick up? But it made sense that it had to go slow, so you kind of, like, understood Drake's mind, and, like, how he was counting all the guards. Yeah, but it was just kind of, like, going slow at first, but I mean, it made sense, because, you know, he's not gonna escape in, like, the first month, but, you know, in the beginning I was just like, when are things gonna pick up? I really love the ring, and I'm really excited to see where the series goes. One last thing, though. I kind of like Irene and Tristan. Like, I don't know if I ship it or anything, but I like it. I can get behind it. Like, it's not annoying to me. I thought it was kind of cute how she, like, kissed him or whatever, and she was just like, oh, you're 17 and you haven't had your first kiss yet. That won't do. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cute. But I don't know if anything's gonna come out of that, or if they're just gonna like remain friends. But I guess we'll see in the next book. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!